In case you missed it, here's Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.
So Friday was National Cheese Lovers Day, and there's around 1,800 varieties of cheese around the world, which means somebody's figured it out. It would take about 5 years to go through all of them if you tried a new one every day.
Just one a day?
One a day.
I'd definitely try more than that. But if you're up for eating a lot of cheese, the people at sleepjunkie.com are looking for your help with a new study. They want to test out the theory. Have you heard this? The theory that eating cheese before bed gives you nightmares. And they want to figure out if some cheeses have more an effect than others. So they're hiring 5 dairy dreamers. And pretty much you just have to eat various cheeses before bed every night for 3 months. They'll tell you what cheese to eat when, and they'll pay you for the cheese. And also give you $1,000 when it's all said and done.
Now, you'll have to track your sleep and keep a journal of your experiences, particularly, maybe any vivid dreams you had, any nightmares you may have had. And you can apply through their website. Biggest qualifications being at least 21. They want you to have a smartwatch or a fitness tracker that will track your sleep. And also being able to sleep alone for 3 months starting in March. So if you've got a spare room and a significant other, you may have to sleep somewhere else for a bit. Deadline to apply is early February.
Is this open to Canadians? Not going to lie. This might be tempting.
Interesting.
You give me a cheese budget and I just tell you how much I slept and you give me $1,000? I'm in.
I mean, I like cheese. Unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily like me. So moderation, I wouldn't do well on this study. The nightmare for me would be being stuck in the bathroom all the time.
Yum. Science. It's not rocket science.
Check it out. I blinded us with science.
Well, as a human race, I think we've had a pretty good run. Been around for a while. Microsoft has a new AI tool that can impersonate anyone's voice after hearing them talk for just 3 seconds. So they just released samples, but you can't try it yet. How scary is this? So they could actually create something of you saying something outrageous, even though you never said it.
Yeah, or use it to scam money out of friends and family. Like, those grandparent scams where it's like, oh, I'm in jail. Send me Apple cards for bail.
Well, and that's what's going to turn around and happen, right? All these criminals and things will be using this type of technology.
The Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas was just taking place. It's debuted a lot of cool stuff, but they've actually just released a list of some of the worst gadgets you've ever seen there in the last 25 years. It includes vacuum shoes. I guess it vacuums while you walk.
Well, is that the worst thing? If you've got a dog, you'd be able to stick your foot under the
They're
table?
probably super ugly and clunky. How about a robot to bring you toilet paper?
Yes. Why not?
It's called your wife. Honey.
Nice.
Or you do the shuffle, go get some more.
How about the robot to bring me anything, not just toilet paper?
And how about this one, Dave? This might work for you and I. An oven-like contraption to dry out your wet dog.
Oh, my dog would never go in that. She gets freaked out by plastic bags. I'm sure that would make her run.
I was going to say, my sister and brother-in-law's one dog loves it. If you are blow drying your hair when I've been dog sitting her, she comes running to the bathroom because she wants you to blow dry her face and blow it. Like most dogs run away from a hairdryer. No, this one comes running to you.
You remember when the ozone and a hole in the ozone layer was a big thing? Well, the NASA satellite that spotted that hole in the 1980s finally fell out of the orbit and crashed into the Pacific. It was only supposed to last 2 years, stayed up there almost 4 decades. Now, in related news, the ozone layer has been repairing itself ever since 1987, when as a planet, people agreed to stop using Freon and things like aerosol cans. And now a new study found that it should fully repair itself within the next 50 years.
Amazing. The things we can do when we all decide to team up together.
Well, also the end of 80s hair may have helped out a little bit with that.
That's really the real reason. Definitely. Hey, in health news, all the sitting that we do isn't very good for us. But a new study has found an easy way to offset all that sitting. For every half hour, you just need to walk around for 5 minutes.
Get up and move around. And if you're looking to eat healthy this year, you might need to turn your music down. A study found that blaring music loudly was associated with unhealthy food choices. Study examined people in a cafe and playing low or no music resulted in healthier foods. But then people started rocking out and probably started reaching for chicken wings and maybe a couple of cold ones.
Well, apparently high volume music enhances your excitement levels, and that leads to the unhealthy food choices.
Leads to a lot of unhealthy food choices. A lot of unhealthy choices.
Yeah, definitely. Like losing your hearing, maybe. Hey, no surprise study. Working less makes you happier. Well, you didn't need a study to tell me that, but apparently they found that you experience a higher life satisfaction for the fewer hours you work.
Really? No kidding. Mm-hmm. This from the University of Obvious.
Yes, because you get to spend more time with family and for other commitments and responsibilities, and hobbies and doing the things you actually enjoy and choose to do, not the things you have to do.
All right, and one final story. Last Friday, Space.com says it captured a record-breaking radio signal from 9 billion light years away. Researchers detected the radio signal from a star-forming galaxy, and here it is, and here's what that sounds like. Now, pay attention. There's a lot of space noise here. Here's that noise.
Welcome to Starbucks. May I take your order, please?
Now, if you watch any futuristic type movies, it always seems like robots are taking over everything, right? They're in the house, they're chopping up food for you, cooking, they're in the workplace. And I mean, that's happening now. And it's happening even now in courtrooms.
So this website called donotpay.com has come up with some artificial intelligence to help people fight parking tickets, get their bank to reverse things like overdraft fees. And it's, kind of cool how it's going to work, but pretty much you're going to have like a robot lawyer on your side. So they've come up with this AI program that can listen in on the court case and then come up with strategies in real time. And they're going to use it to help someone fight a speeding ticket next month. Somewhere in the U.S. They haven't said where yet because this is probably illegal. So they have found a courtroom because most of them don't allow electronic devices, but there are a couple that allow you to wear those Apple AirPods as like a hearing aid almost. So the person will be wearing one of those, and then the artificial intelligence is going to be telling them what to argue and how to argue it to try to get out of these tickets.
So essentially, the robot lawyer is going to be arguing the case because it'll be telling that person what to say in court.
So the CEO of this company, they say the judge will definitely not know what's going on. I'm sure afterwards they'll reveal, well, only if it really goes in their favor, I bet. But it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. And they're already planning to use it on another speeding ticket case that'll be happening over Zoom. I feel like it'll be easier to kind of do it in that case.
I mean, it's an interesting way to go about it, I suppose. But then you see some of these other videos, like Boston Dynamics put out one about a week or so ago. And I saw someone on Twitter say, well, for the human race, we've had a nice run, I guess. This robot was jumping around, like that. There was a Will Smith movie, iRobot.
Oh, yes.
And it made me think of that. The way this robot was moving, it was jumping up and lifting these heavy things and moving stuff. And then just to have fun, it did like a dismount and a flip down and did like this little dance. Like a robot you would have seen in that movie. It made me think of that a lot. So at some point, yeah, it's nice to have robots, in dangerous situations.
Well, you know what? For me, it's not the robots. It's the artificial intelligence. I mean, didn't we just have a story the other day that the company has come up with artificial intelligence that can hear you talk and then mimic your voice?
Within 3 seconds of hearing your voice. And there was one guy I watched online that says he believes his parents got scammed that way because they said they thought it was him calling. He said, I did not call. And his parents ended up sending all this money and got scammed out of this money, and he never received it. So they got the police involved and things like that, all because of this AI that's starting to mimic. That's the scary, and video. They can do it with video now, too.
Artificial intelligence. It's the one thing that all these tech companies are they're going 100% in on right now.
A little scary. Well, bad enough that bullying happens and still happens in schools, online. What about it happening at home? You won't believe this story. It's wild.
Yeah, a 42-year-old woman in Michigan by the name of Kendra was just arrested after she cyber-bullied her own daughter and the boy she was dating. And this harassment, it wasn't just like a one-time thing. This was planned out. Went on for over a year, was 349 pages of text and social media messages. And she was very sophisticated about it. She used actually a VPN to cover up her tracks digitally, changed up her vocabulary to use, slang that the Gen Z generation uses to make it look like they were written by classmates. And then she even tried to frame another student in her daughter's class for the harassment.
Now, at first, the victim even went to her mom for help, but when that didn't work, She went to the authorities. The investigation went on for almost a year before the mom was caught. So she's hit with multiple charges right now, and some of which are a felony, potentially up to 20 years in prison.
Why? I really want to know why. I'm sure this might come out in the trial as long as she doesn't plea, but
I can't imagine
what was the motive behind all this?
It's wild. I mean, tough enough on our kids to have to go through their day to day because it's relentless now. I mean, in grade 9, I was bullied every day. I was a country kid, and there was a group of people that lived in the town kids that just decided I was the one they were going to pick on, right? And it was every day in grade 9 to where the point where I'd get physically sick. I'd almost like be throwing up in the morning because I didn't want to go to school. But at least I could go home.
Yeah, and
that
escape
was the safe
it.
spot, right?
Now it follows you thanks to social media and apps and messaging.
And you know what's sad? It didn't stop until I stood up for myself, first day of grade 10. That bully shoved my face into a water fountain and actually split my lip and cracked one of my teeth. And so I grabbed him and threw him down to the ground and just told him that wasn't going to happen again. Now, that summer, I did actually put on a little bit of weight and muscle because my dad had a wood stove, and so I wanted to chop the wood, and I actually did bulk up a bit. I mean, it was still pretty thin,
it was like your Karate Kid moment.
It sure was in that moment. And you know what? It stopped like that.
But here's the sad thing, is they probably just moved on and found a different kid to pick on.
They 100%
unfortunately.
did. Yeah. So sad that this was actually happening in her home. We're asking this question: what's the dumbest way you've ever accidentally hurt yourself? You can call us 519-351-6300 because we'll backtrack a bit. Friday, I was getting ready to leave work, and our doors, they're fairly heavy, right? Because control room sealed off. And there's a handle on one side, and then it's just push on the other side. Well, I was coming to get my stuff out of the control room, and I don't know if I just kind of stumbled backwards or whatnot. I went to grab the handle, but my fingers didn't really grab the handle, except for my ring finger on my right hand. But yet I was in the motion of pulling open said heavy door with one finger.
So all the weight was on your ring finger.
Which didn't work out so well. I'd sprained my whole finger right down through my wrist and into my elbow. I could feel it all weekend, and it actually just started feeling better in the last day or so.
Really? Oh my gosh.
And then you and I started talking about some of the, because I was telling you about it, and like dumb ways that we hurt ourselves.
Oh yeah. Back in the fall, I was coming upstairs, I think from doing laundry in the basement, and I tripped going up the stairs, and I banged my knee into the stair, and then I kind of fell into the wall, and I put my hand out, and I bent my pinky finger like all the way back. It still hurts. When I play volleyball, I have to tape it up because when it gets hit, it's not 100%. And then a few weeks ago, I severely sprained my ankle working out.
I once hit my head when we lived in Timmins on a cupboard door. I was like kind of underneath getting something, and it was like one of the upper cupboards. So I was just like, and this was a cupboard right by some stairs. I forgot I'd left the door open. Smashed my head on the door and almost fell down the basement stairs. I actually kind of had to grab the wall. So we posted this on Facebook, and you can even give us a call, 519-351-6300. Hi, CFCO. What's the dumbest way you've ever hurt yourself?
I broke my toe. Well, my dog broke my toe playing with him.
Oh, no.
How did that happen?
He was hiding behind one wall, and I was hiding on the other side. And I came around the wall to jump at him, and his paw smacked my big toe and lifted it up.
Oh.
Oh, man. How big of a dog?
He was 60 pounds.
Okay, yeah, good sized dog. So he won that battle then. He won.
He did. I went and sat down because I was in pain, and he came over and licked me and make sure I was all right.
Are we done playing, Mom? What's going on? Well, thanks for your call. You have a great day. Appreciate it. On our Facebook page, Jennifer said, climbing and hanging upside down on one of those steel T-poles that are for clotheslines. I used a piece of plywood and a steel table frame to get up to them, hung upside down, fell. See, this is right from the start. Hanging it upside down is a bad idea. Plywood dropped off the table. Steel frame scratched my back open from my right shoulder to my left hip. There's lots of ones about people falling down. Adriana missed a step, twisted, broke her ankle. Ooh. Jess said years ago, driving a really beat up old car, fairly long distance, had no cruise. Finally got to our destination, took my foot off the gas to touch the brake, and all I heard was a snap. I fractured my ankle. Come to find out I have low bone density, and that caused her ankle to fracture.
Oh. How about this? Joanne says she got a concussion once from being hit in the head with a pail of icing when she worked at a bakery.
Ouch. Laura says, when I was young and going to a funeral, I fell down a flight of stairs and broke my tailbone.
Ouch.
519-351-6300. What's the dumbest way you've ever accidentally hurt or injured yourself?
You can call or text us at that number. Hi, CFCO. What's the dumbest way you've ever hurt yourself?
Hi, good morning. We lost our caller there. We'll go to this line. Hi, CFCO. What's the dumbest way you've ever hurt yourself?
My cat. I walked into the.
Oh, you're just turning on your radio a little bit there because you're getting a little background noise there from that.
Sorry, I was just doing that.
No problem. So, how did you hurt yourself? Your cat hurt you?
Yes, I walked in the bathroom to grab something, and I stepped over my cat, and he got underneath my feet. I fell. I literally hit my neck on the toilet.
Ooh.
Snapped my toilet in 4 pieces.
Oh, my God.
Hit the bathtub. Put myself unconscious for a good 3-4 hours.
Oh, man.
I woke up in the hospital wearing the hospital pajamas.
Oh, my gosh, man. So you were on the mend for quite some while, I bet.
I've been in the hospital with a crushed neck for over a month.
Oh, all because you were trying to avoid the cat.
Yeah.
The things that we do. Wow, that's incredible.
Then when I got out, my cat was there, and I went to go boot it out of the way, and I did it over again.
No way.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say just avoid the cat. That's probably the best advice.
That's a sign cats are trying to kill us, I think.
Well, I hope you're doing a little bit better now. Thanks for your call. I appreciate that. I remember there was a quarterback. Actually, I believe he played at Michigan, Brian Greasy, years ago.
Yep.
He played with Denver. And he hurt himself jumping over. His dog was on the stairs. And he just thought he'd jump over the dog and go down the stairs. Well, he tripped on the stairs, ended up hurting his knee or his ankle, trying to get by this dog, and was out and missed a few games.
Over on our Facebook page where we posted, what's the dumbest way you've ever accidentally hurt yourself? Jane says she slipped on ice on the step going out to feed the feral cats and broke her leg. Then she waited until the next day to go to the hospital. And yes, she still finished feeding the cats.
One of the other posts, Sarah Ann says, I was a kid running home from the neighbors and I tripped on the curb, broke my arm, both bones in my lower arm. Or the time I was in a lawn chair at a neighbor's porch and my brother crawled underneath of it and I fell. The chair fell on top of me, my brother on top of the chair, broke both bones in my arm again.
Oh, man.
And then Courtney says about 8 years ago, being told there was fresh coffee, I ended up, she must have been rushing, falling down the stairs and busted my shoulder and a couple of ribs. Never did get my coffee. Yeah, at that point, it's chaos and 911's probably being called.
And you're like, the next day, you're like, I never did get the coffee.
And then one more, courtesy of Barb.
Yeah, she says she broke a drinking glass, set the base on the chair, and cleaned up the shards. Forgot about the jagged base on the chair and sat down on the chair where the glass base was. She said she ended up with a few stitches in her backside.
I bet. Yeah, not that you won, Barb, but of all the stories today, that one sounds like the most painful. Although the guy that called, maybe that's number one. If you're someone that struggles with your weight, always talking about going on, various diets, things like that, a new study has identified factors that predict how easily you'll lose weight and how likely you'll keep it off.
So this study from Stanford University says some people lose weight more easily on low-fat diets, while others do better on low-carb diets. And they found that the type of bacteria that is in your gut, the amount of certain proteins your body makes, and how much carbon dioxide you exhale all influence how much weight you'll lose on what diet. So it's not your fault. You just have picked the wrong diet.
So researchers say they can determine if a person's body prefers to burn fat or carbs for fuel by measuring the ratio of inhaled oxygen to exhaled carbon dioxide.
So the higher the ratio, the more your body likes to burn carbs. So those individuals would do better at losing weight in the study than those with a lower ratio. So they say at the end of the day, it really just shows that a diet that might work for one person isn't necessarily going to work for someone else. We're all different and unique.
I've had people ask me about running over the years, right? And differences between running shorter distances, longer distances, and if they wanted to get into it. And I said, well, the one thing I'll tell you is just remember, every body is different. So maybe you're someone that likes the quick pace of going really fast in a short distance versus trying to vary things and go a longer distance. And this just proves it out. Every body is different. So don't beat yourself up. Just keep looking. Find the thing that's right for you. When you get that card in Monopoly that says bank error in your favor, collect $200, well, of course, that's not a thing in real life, nor is it a thing when it comes to your salary and payroll.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I got overpaid by $1 million.
Just $1 million.
On my paycheck, but that's what happened to the head coach of the LSU football team, the Louisiana State University football team, Brian Kelly. He was accidentally overpaid by $1 million during the first year of his 10-year contract. Now, mind you, his contract is worth $100 million. So being overpaid by $1 million, that's chump change.
So he was overpaid in supplemental payments in 2022 because of duplicate payments made both to Kelly's LLC and to the coach directly. So that's how it ended up going in two different spots. So the double payments began in May and continued until they finally realized the error in November. How much money is this university bringing in that you can overpay somebody by $1 million and it takes you months before you finally realize it?
Well, and the fact that he didn't realize it either, because I don't know. Well, I mean, are you paying that close attention? But they have now adjusted the payment schedule, and the amount of the overpayment will be recouped by the conclusion of the fiscal year, they said.
So they're not paying him as much then. So they've clawed back a little.
Yes, yeah, and to sort of make up for it.
How is he ever going to survive?
I don't know. How is he only going to survive getting, a couple $100,000 every 2 weeks?
I mean, with the price of eggs, how is he going to do it and survive? 10-year, $100 million contract.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. So you probably recognize his name. He was the head coach for the football team at Notre Dame for 12 seasons. Was just recently hired by LSU after they went 6-7, and he did turn them around. They ended up winning the SEC West and finished with a 10-4 record, which is pretty good in the SEC.
And they also, pounded Purdue in the Citrus Bowl. That's a great name for a game, isn't it?
Well, it's a good thing they won the Citrus Bowl because they need that money to pay him for his coaching contract.
$100 million. I hate when that happens. You go to your bank, you look it up.
You're making so much money you don't even realize you've been overpaid by $1 million.
You're walking down the street, money's just falling out of your pockets.
You've been listening to Dave and Cheryl's favorite moments of the week.